Good morning everyone. In the previous class we have discussed regarding the bacterial disease, that is typhoid and pneumonia, as well as the viral disease, that is common cold. So in the today's class we are going to discuss regarding the protozoan diseases. So as we had studied in the first day class, protozoa is a unicellular eukaryote, right? So in this mainly we are going to study the two important diseases which are harmful for the humankind. Among them, the first one is the malaria and the second one is the amoebiasis, right? So coming to the first one, that is malaria. So which is the fourth disease we are going to study, that is malaria. So malaria is mainly caused by a protozoan called as a Plasmodium. So this Plasmodium is having three different species, that is Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria and Plasmodium falciparum. Right? So malaria is a very common disease that we are going to fight from a very long year. Right? So it is mainly caused by a protozoan called as a Plasmodium. So this Plasmodium is having three different species. Those are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae and Plasmodium falciparum. So among these three species, right? So all these three species are going to form, or they are responsible for the different types of malaria. But among them, the Plasmodium falciparum, so this is the most dangerous one, as it is going to cause a malignant malaria which can also lead to the death, right? So now coming to the infected organs. So which organs are mainly infected or affected by this malaria? Infected organ. So it is going to mainly affect the liver cells, that is hepatocytes, and the RBCs, that is red blood cells, or we can also call them as erythrocytes, right? So malaria is going to infect mainly the liver cells as well as the RBCs. So what are the symptoms of this malaria? So the main symptoms are the chills, there is a shivering and high fever, right? So that is from 39 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So that is going to recur 3 to 4 days. Right? So the organ which is infected by malaria are the liver cells, that is the hepatocytes, and the RBCs or the erythrocytes. Right? So what are the symptoms of this malaria are chills. Chills means shivering. So whenever you are feeling more cold, so automatically your body starts shivering. So that is usually called as a chills in the biological terms, and the high fever. So the normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, right? When this normal degree temperature has been increased to 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, that we are going to call it as a high fever. So these chills and high fever, they are not continuous, but they are going to reoccur in the 3 to 4 days. Means they are going to means after 3 to 4 days again you are going to get a high fever or the chills. So again by that night again it is going to reduce, or it is coming to normal. So again it is going to occur. So that's why it is recurring in 3 to 4 days. So now coming to the mode of transmission. How this malaria is transmitted from one person to another person. So that is mode of transmission, right? So the malaria is a vector-borne disease. So this is a vector-borne disease. So what do you mean by this vector-borne disease means? So the diseases which are transmitted from the vectors, right? So vectors means the organisms which are going to transmit the disease from one person to another person. So they are called as the vectors. So which is the main vector in case of this protozoan disease, that is malaria, is a female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito. And this malaria is going to involve two hosts. Hosts means the pathogen in which organisms they are going to invade. So those are called as a host. So it is going to involve two hosts. So one is the female Anopheles mosquito and the second one is the human. Right? So So this is all regarding the malaria, right? So malaria is caused by a plasmodium. So this plasmodium is having 3 species: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, and Plasmodium falciparum. So out of these 3 species, the most dangerous one is the Plasmodium falciparum. So as it is going to cause the malignant malaria, so which leads to the death. So the organs which are infected by malaria are the liver cells and the red blood cells or the erythrocytes. So what are the symptoms of this malaria? Chills and high fever. So that is from 39 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, which are going to reoccur in 3 to 4 days. So the main mode of transmission, right? So malaria is a vector-borne disease. So it has to be transmitted with the help of a vector, and the vector here in case of malaria is a female Anopheles mosquito, right? So that is the infected female Anopheles mosquito, because the normal female Anopheles mosquitoes can't be taken as a vector. So only the infected female Anopheles mosquitoes we can call them as a vector, right? So it is going to involve 2 hosts, means it is going to live in 2 organisms, 2 different organisms. So those are, the first one is the female Anopheles mosquito and the second one is the human being, right? But here we are also going to study regarding the life cycle of this Plasmodium vivax or the Plasmodium and all these 3 different species. Right. So there is life cycle of Plasmodium. So what are the different things that are going to happen to complete a life cycle of this Plasmodium? Firstly, the infected female Anopheles mosquito is going to bite a normal human being. So that is infected female Anopheles mosquito. So when it bites a human being. So what happens here? When the infected female Anopheles mosquito, means the mosquito which is already infected by this Plasmodium. So when this mosquito is going to bite a human being for a blood meal, right? So obviously, why the mosquito is going to bite a human being? To get the blood. So whenever the infected female Anopheles mosquito is going to bite a normal human being for a blood meal, so it has to transmit the anticoagulants, right? So it is going to transmit the anticoagulants into the bloodstream, right? So the normal female Anopheles mosquito, it is going to transmit only the anticoagulants so that the blood would not clot, right? But the infected female Anopheles mosquito, along with the anticoagulants, it is also going to transmit the sporozoites, right? So which are the stages of this Plasmodium, right? So the infected female Anopheles mosquito is going to transmit the sporozoites along with the anticoagulants into the human bloodstream. So when the sporozoites enter into the human being, so they are going to infect the liver cells. So the liver cells are nothing but the hepatocytes, right? So these sporozoites are going to infect the liver cells, those are the hepatocytes, right? So these hepatocytes, what happens inside the hepatocytes or the liver cells is that, so there is a asexual reproduction taking place. So this asexual reproduction means multiplication, right? So they are going to multiply with the help of asexual reproduction, which is also called as a schizogamy, right? So then what happens means a large number of sporozoites are formed. So these sporozoites are now, after the asexual reproduction, they are called as a merozoites. So now we are going to call them as a merozoites. So these merozoites, they are going to burst the liver cells and they are going to enter into the bloodstream. So now they are going to infect the RBCs. So now they are going to infect RBCs, right? So inside the RBCs also, so they are going to multiply again. So again they are going to multiply. So this is going to lead to the cell burst. So that means red blood cells, they are going to burst. So this bursting of red blood cells, so that is going to result in the release of toxic substance which is called as a hemozoin. Right? So the sporozoites first they are going to infect the liver cells. Inside the liver cells, the asexual reproduction takes place. So that asexual reproduction is called as a schizogamy. So after the asexual reproduction, these sporozoites are now termed as a merozoites, right? So when the merozoites goes on increasing in number, so then they are going to result in the bursting of the liver cells. So from the liver cells, they are again re-entering into the bloodstream. So when they enter into the bloodstream, so their main target or they are going to attack on the RBCs. So now they are going to enter into the RBCs. Inside the RBCs also the same thing happens. That is, again there is a asexual reproduction and the number of merozoites goes on multiplying, right? So that is also going to result in the bursting of the red blood cells. So when these red blood cells are bursted out or when they are broken out, so they are going to release a toxic substance. That toxic substance is nothing but the hemozoin. So this hemozoin is responsible for causing the chills and high fever in case of the human beings, right? So which are the main symptoms of this disease, right? So that is mainly by the hemozoin, which is a toxic substance that is released on bursting of the RBCs. So now what happens means, again here this merozoites from the RBCs, now they are transmitted to the next stage which is called as a sporozoites. Sorry, that is trophozoites. Trophozoites. Right? It is also called as a ring cell stage. So here what happens means these merozoites are converted into a next stage, that is a trophozoites. So these trophozoites are having two stages, right? Or the two phases. One thing is that again they will involve in the asexual reproduction and they can create or increase the number of merozoites. This is the first thing. And the second thing is that so they will enter into a sexual stage so that they are going to form or convert into the gametocytes. So now they are going to convert into a sexual stage or the sexual cells that is called as a gametocytes, right? So these gametocytes are of two types. One is the micro and one is the macro. So the micro is a male one and macro is a female thing, right? So after the bursting of the RBCs, there is a release of the hemozoin, right? So now these merozoites are converted into the trophozoites, right? These trophozoites are having two cases. One is they can enter into the asexual reproduction and again they are going to form a large number of merozoites. And these merozoites again they are going to invade the new red blood cells and they are going to cause the damage. Then second case is that, so this is the first case, and the second case is that these trophozoites are going to enter into the sexual stage. So then they are going to get convert themselves into the germ cells or the gametocytes. They are going to convert into the gametes, right? So one is the microgametocyte and one is the macrogametocyte. Micro represents the male and macro it is going to represent the female. So whenever the other normal female Anopheles mosquito bites a human being, so again when the female Anopheles mosquito bites, so this gametocyte, so they are going to enter, So these gametocytes, they are going to enter into the gut, that is the stomach or the intestine of the Anopheles mosquito. So whenever the mosquito bites the infected person, so this person is going to pass the gametocytes into the female Anopheles mosquito. So inside the female Anopheles mosquito, so now these gametocytes, they are going to enter into the gut, that is the stomach. So inside the stomach, what happens means there is a fusion of this micro as well as the macro gametocytes, which we are usually calling as a fertilization. That is the fusion of male and female gametes. So this is going to lead into the zygote. So this zygote leads to the oocyst. So now from the oocyst, there is a release of this sporozoids. There is a release of this sporozoids. So these sporozoids are motile and they can transmit from the gut region to the salivary gland. So now they are stored in the salivary gland of the mosquito, right? So again, when that mosquito bites, again the sporozoids from the salivary gland transfers to the human being. So this is how the mosquitoes are going to infect, or they are going to transmit the malaria disease from one person to another person. So just quickly we will go once again. So here firstly, the infected female Anopheles mosquito is going to bite a normal person, right? So while biting, so what it will usually do means it is going to release anticoagulants in the bloodstream so that the blood won't coagulate, right? Or the blood won't clot. So when the infected female Anopheles mosquito bites, along with the anticoagulants, it is also going to transmit a infectious stage of the plasmodium, that is the sporozoids. First thing. Then these sporozoids, along with the bloodstream, it is going to enter into the liver cells. Liver cells are nothing but the hepatocytes. Inside the hepatocytes, what happens means there is a asexual reproduction, which we will call it as a schizogamy, right? So due to the asexual reproduction, there is a multiplication of the sporozoids. Now they are converted into a merozoids. So these merozoids, again they are bursting out of the liver cells and they are entering into the bloodstream. So once they enter into the bloodstream, now they are going to attack the next cells, that is the red blood cells, right? Inside the red blood cells also, there is a schizogamy going to continue. There is a asexual reproduction again takes place. Again there is a multiplication and increasing in the number of merozoids. So when there is a large number of merozoids inside the RBCs, obviously the cell is going to break out or it is going to burst. So this bursting of the RBCs or the red blood cells, it is going to release in the toxic substance, which we are going to call it as a hemozoin. So this hemozoin is responsible for the chills and the high fever that are going to occur during the malaria. So now the merozoids of the RBCs are converted to the ring stage, which is called as a trophozoites, right? So these trophozoites are having two cases. The first thing is that it can again enter into asexual reproduction and produce large number of merozoites, and the second thing is that it can enter into the sexual stage and then they are converted into the gametocytes or the sex stage, right? So there are two types of gametocytes. One is microgametocyte and one is the macrogametocytes. Micro means male, macro means female gamete, right? So when the normal Anopheles mosquito, normal female Anopheles mosquito bites a infected person, these gametocytes are going to transmit to the Anopheles mosquito. So inside the gut region, these gametocytes, they will undergo the fertilization. There is a sexual reproduction. This fertilization leads to the formation of a zygote. From the zygote, there is a formation of a oocyst. So this oocyst is going to give rise to a large number of sporozoites, which are the motile ones. So now they are going to travel to the salivary gland where they are stored. So when this mosquito bites a normal person, again there is a transfer of the malaria, right? So this is how the life cycle of the plasmodium goes, including two hosts, that is a infected female mosquito, that is a female Anopheles mosquito, and a human being. So it is having two important hosts. So it is a female Anopheles mosquito and a human being. And one more important thing you have to note here is the type of reproduction taking place in the human being is a asexual reproduction, right? So whereas the reproduction taking place in the gut region, this is a sexual reproduction, right? So this is a life cycle of the plasmodium, right? So now let us study the second protozoan disease, that is amoebiasis. the next one, that is amoebiasis. Or the fifth disease in this chapter, that is amoebiasis, or we can also call it as a amoebic dysentery. Right? So the second one is the amoebiasis or the amoebic dysentery. Amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery. So here, this amoebiasis is caused by a protozoan called as, is caused by Entamoeba histolytica. The infected organ in case of the amoebiasis is the large intestine. Right? So the second protozoan disease is the amoebiasis, or we can also call it as the amoebic dysentery. Right? So the dysentery is a biological term which is used for the loose motion or a diarrhea. We can usually call it as a diarrhea, loose motion, or the dysentery. So here the causative agent for this amoebiasis or the amoebic dysentery is a protozoan called as Entamoeba histolytica. So that is Entamoeba histolytica. So which is the infected organ? So the organ which is going to infect or which is going to get infected by this amoebiasis is the large intestine. Right? So what are the symptoms of this? The first thing is that constipation. What do you mean by constipation? Means the problem while passing the bowel movements, right? So the pain or there is no easy bowel movement, so that is termed by a constipation, or we can call it as a constipation. Second thing is that abdominal pain and cramps. Then stools, or we can call it as a feces with excess mucus and blood clots. So these are the symptoms of the diarrhea, right? So first thing is a constipation, that is a problem while passing the fecus or the bowel movements. So that is called as a constipation. Abdominal pain means here the stomach pain and getting the cramps in the stomach. Then the stools means while passing the motion, that stools or the fecus, so that might be means it is going to pass along with the excess mucus. So usually the fecus is going to pass with some amount of mucus, but during the diarrhea or during the amoebic dysentery, the large number of or the large amount of mucus is going to be passed out along with the stools, and also some of in serious or the severe cases, these blood clots may also passed along with the stools. So these are the symptoms of this amoebiasis or the amoebic dysentery. So now coming to the next thing, that is the mode of transmission. Mode of transmission. So here this can be transmitted by two things. The first one is through the mechanical carrier. So here in case of the amoebiasis, the mechanical carrier is a house flies. So these are nothing but the house flies. So house flies are going to act as a mechanical carrier. Mechanical means they are going to carry these parasites which are present in the fecus, right? So what happens means this Entamoeba histolytica. So in the infected person, means the person who is already affected by this amoebiasis, that person is going to pass the eggs along with the fecus or the stools, right? So along with the excretory material, so he is also going to pass out the eggs of this Entamoeba histolytica. So these houseflies, when they go and sit on these stools, what happens means those legs will be attached with the eggs of this Entamoeba histolytica, right? So now when the same housefly comes and sit on the water or comes and sit in the food, so then it is going to contaminate the food. So the first thing is that it is transmitted by the mechanical carriers, which are the houseflies. And the second thing is that it is transmitted through the drinking water and food contaminated with feces carrying eggs. Right? So this is how the Entamoeba histolytica can transmit from one person, or it is how it is going to spread. So first thing is through the mechanical carrier, that is a housefly. So when this housefly goes and sit on the stools or the fecus, so that is feces that is already having the eggs of this Entamoeba histolytica. So these eggs are going to get attached to the legs of the housefly, and when the same housefly comes and sits on the food, so that food will be contaminated with the eggs of this Entamoeba histolytica. So this is the first thing. Second thing is that when the drinking water and the food that we are going to take, that is contaminated, suppose if it is contaminated with the feces or the stools which are having the eggs of this Entamoeba histolytica, so that person will be easily infected by this Entamoeba histolytica, right? So this is regarding the amoebiasis, right? So amoebiasis, or it is also called as amoebic dysentery. So the causative agent is the Entamoeba histolytica. Infected organ is large intestine. Symptoms are constipation, abdominal pain and abdominal cramps, stools with excess mucus, and the blood clots. So the mode of transmission is that it is transmitted through the mechanical carriers, those are the houseflies. And the second thing, whenever the drinking water and the food we consume is contaminated with the eggs, or which is present in the fecus or the stools, so then this disease can be transmitted from one person to another person, right? So that's all for the today's class. In this class we have studied two protozoan disease. The first one is the malaria and the second thing is the amoebiasis, right? So in the next class we will be discussing three more diseases, that is a two helminthus diseases and the other one is a fungal disease, right? Thank you.